G'day guys, Aaron Lewis, CEO for P360. Here today to talk to you about running. Many of you sort of hit the new year and want to get out there and start running. Great goal, want to knock over 5, 10, 15, 20k. Some of you might even be really extravagant and want to run a marathon for the first time or again. We see this every year, go out, go gung-ho and just really overdo it, do too much and end up sore and give up on their goals before they even get the end of January. So a few things I'd like to say. First of all, ease into it. If you haven't run before, just start with a couple of Ks. Give yourself a day off in between to rest and really respect your recovery. How you respond and how you recover is going to dictate how much you should be running. From there, after you've built yourself up, if you're doing 2 or 3 runs a week, build yourself up steadily over 3 or 4 weeks, and then you should be able to start hitting some appropriate distances and times that are a little bit more closer to your goal. But really, even if you're an experienced runner and you're getting back into it, take it easy as your first port of call. Otherwise, you are likely to get injured. It's no doubt the biggest issue we see is doing too much too soon. Build yourself back into it, take your time. Now, for those who really want to get the most out of their running and do everything they can to 1, prevent injury, 2, run further, or 3, run faster. Strengthening is a great way to do that, and there's a few things you can do these days which will really help your running to kick off and hit those goals that you want to do. So we'll go through a few of those things coming up right now. Thanks. G'day guys, here to talk to you about the hip thruster exercise. We find this one's really good for the runners out there, also good for our cricketers or anyone who has to throw or do any propulsion based exercise, but definitely distance running, sprint running, perfect exercise for them. So what we're targeting here are your glute muscles, particularly your glute max, and trying to get it doing its drive work, and also at the same time your stability muscles, which are your outside glute muscles in from there. So here we'll get Adam to demonstrate. So what we'd like to do is get you placed on a nice firm bench or support into here. It can be a chair, can be a bench, or in our case we're using the plyo box. Get our legs out so they're nice and comfortable. We want to make sure our head stays nice and neutral in through there. The weight's staying on our waist, and we can hold it with our hands if we want, or we can have our hands across our chest or wherever we feel comfortable. In this case, we'll do the right leg first. So what we want to do is we want to lift the left knee up. Probably just bend up a little bit into there for me. What we're going to do from here, we want to keep the weight nice and parallel to the floor. Obviously that means keeping our waist and our hips nice and parallel to the floor as well. So you should feel that working through into here, and then we're going to drop down and then lift up into a nice straight position and then drop back down again. We should be really feeling that through our backside muscles into there, up and down into there again. Okay, have a breather for a tick. For those who have mastered that, you can rest your leg. We can make it a little bit more advanced by adding a band. So what we do with this is we just get an open elastic band like that. We get the 2 ends around there, around the right foot, and then we're putting that through the leg up into there. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the left hip working with the right glute, which is exactly what you do when you run or throw or bowl or anything like that. So I'll go again, we've still got the weight on there, lift the left leg up just a little bit, and now we're lifting our hips up again, and now we're trying to lift that left leg up and then back down. Okay, so you should feel a lot more activity coming through that left hip. So that right hip's got to drive for that left hip to come through. Really good for the distance and for the sprinters out there as needed. Cheers, thank you. Okay guys, we're here to go through an exercise called the crab walk. This can be a really good exercise for anyone running or needing any sense of stability. It's all about strengthening the outer glute muscles through there. So what we'll do is we'll start off with a nice simple version of it. We'll get Adam here with a band to wrap just around your ankles there for me. So just use a little TheraBand, which you can pick up from generally most sports stores and stuff these days, or physiotherapy practices. Now what we want to do is we're going to walk to the left here first. So we'd like to get into just a sort of like a semi-squatted position. So those who run, you probably want to look at where you're about your landing knee angle, and that would be a really great position for you. Back nice and neutral. What we're going to do here is all the weight's going to come onto the left leg, and we're going to get the right leg to meet the left. So we want the spine to stay nice and straight and the shoulders to stay relatively square to the hip. So we'll lift and bring the right into there, staying nice and straight. Then all the weight goes onto the right, and then we take the step to the left into there. It doesn't need to be a big step. But the big key here is to make sure you keep this as square as possible and getting that feeling through those hip muscles into there. As you get more advanced, you can add weights. You can put a cable around and add or drag a weight along, or use powerless sleds or anything along those lines as well. Excellent, thank you. G'day guys, here to go through some calf exercises. The calves are often left behind when it comes to runners and sports people, but they can be so important when it comes to preventing hamstring or hip injuries as well as foot injuries. So We're going to run through a couple of variations of calf raises for you, and we'll go from there. So let's have a look. We've got Adam here. Let's face into the wall. We're just going to start off with an unloaded one. I like going into single leg, and what we'll do from there, we just want Adam keeping the hips nice and straight, just holding on for the balance component, not to actually pull you up, keeping the knees straight, push through the big toe in particular and lift yourself straight up and back down into there like that. We'll go again, nice and straight through there. Are a few variations. Some people have got weaker outside calves and some people have got weaker inside calves, so we do like to target those ones as well. So what we might do is we'll just get Adam, just rotate your right foot out slightly there for me. Now into that position, when we go to do this calf raise, it's really important that we keep the hips nice and straight. We don't want the hips doing the stability work. We want to target the outside part of the calf. So when we go to lift, we're going to push through the big toe again and lift yourself up, keep the knees straight. And what that will do is that'll allow us to target this little muscle out through here. If we push through the little toe, we're going to target too much onto the outside. We want to get right into this part into here. Likewise, if we go inside there for me, so just a little bit, doesn't need to be in too much. Same thing, keep the hips nice and straight and lifting up. We're going to target into this muscle here again, pushing through the big toe, and we'll target the inside part of the calf into there. Mightn't also be a bad idea if we go back to a straight foot there for me, Adam, just do some bent knee calf raises as well. So just on a bent knee position. Now as we go to lift, it's really important we don't straighten the knee. We keep that nice and locked into that flex position, and this will target the deeper calf muscles into there. As you get better, you can add some weight or extra resistance or do them off a step if you like. Thanks a lot.